Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. If you're watching this video and it's Salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. It came to my attention that Dilly Hussain from 5 Pillars and Myron from Fresh and Fit were going back and forth about what I feel is a valid point Brother Dilly was making. Dilly basically responded to this tweet by Andrew Tate congratulating anti-Muslim activist Tommy Robinson for being successful in a recent court case that is linked to his Islamophobic activities. As you can see, Dilly correctly called out Tate for his friendship with people like Tommy Robinson, as well as his ties to a Zionist business associate called Iggy that runs his men's community. Dilly shockingly pointed out that this Iggy character, along with Tommy Robinson, both advocate for the genocide in Palestine, and that stance seems to be okay with Tate as he simply sees it as a difference of opinion, especially because they have the establishment as a common enemy, so he's willing to overlook their hatred of Islam and endorsement of war crimes. Dilly also stated that we should take Tate's outward religiosity with a pinch of salt, as his fight against the so-called Matrix seems to be more important to him, which is evident from how he sides with Islamophobes like Tommy Robinson, despite the relentless disrespect this individual has shown to Islam and Muslims throughout the years. If someone is doing haram and they align with your views in some ways, if your religion comes first, you would at the very least just ignore that person and not endorse or congratulate them, or put your personal stance on worldly matters before your relationship with God. Tate hasn't responded to Dilly as of yet, but as you can see, Myron decided to get involved. These two have clashed in the past over Myron's recent viral moment when he allowed Laura Loomer to disrespect Islam on his show without any pushback. I've done a video covering that previously on my channel. Go and watch it if you want more context. Myron stated that he and the Tate brothers have been very vocal in their support for Palestine and brought up the charity work they've done also. We can't deny this, and credit where credit is due, they deserve praise for this. However, Myron is of the opinion that Dilly is wrong for not associating with people who disrespect Islam or don't support Palestine. Personally, I feel if there's a difference of opinion when it comes to viewpoints concerning general things, then it's fine. But when it comes to religion and the lost lives of our brothers and sisters in Palestine, it's not, because these are not small matters. Before I get to Brother Dilly's response, here is a short clip of Tate justifying why he supports Tommy Robinson.
I tweeted today in support of Tommy Robinson. He argues against Islam. He's pro-Israel. I'm strongly against both of those viewpoints. However, the case against him was bullshit. It was lawfare. They were trying to shut up somebody who they don't like. They were using the legal system to punish a dissident voice in a country that's supposed to be free. And he quite rightly won his case, which he deserved to win. He is against corrupt governments. At least let's all agree on getting rid of that first. We can argue the details later. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Plus, I know him on a personal basis. I don't need everybody to agree with everything I say. I need people to reject the slave programming.
I have to say, I disagree with him here. Tommy is an enemy of Islam. Aligning yourself with evildoers just because they are anti-establishment in some way is not a well thought through stance. Hypothetically, would Tate stand with Jimmy Savile despite his evil actions just because they have a common enemy? I doubt that very much. Now back to Dilly and Myron. Dilly hit back at Myron for chiming in on his criticism of Tate by bringing up Myron's previous online free speech stance where he said he would be okay if someone disrespected Islam and his mother, all in the name of freedom of speech. I'm all for freedom of speech, but at the very least respond and defend your deen and your mother. Dilly had included a video clip of Myron with this response, showing Myron speaking about being okay with his father cheating on his mother, to which Myron responded to add context and even resorted to swearing at Dilly. Dilly proceeded to double down on calling out Myron's free speech and being American excuse for allowing his religion and mother to be disrespected, and resorted to some name calling of his own, to which Myron responded with his favourite catchphrase of "I'm not religious," as well as calling Dilly Hussain an extremist, and again resorted to more name calling. I do agree with Myron's point of not being given credit for bringing on guests like Mohammed, Hijab, etc., but it still doesn't excuse the fact that he let people like Laura Loomer disrespect Islam on his show, and both of them continued in this vein, as you can see. Let's roll a short clip of Myron hosting Tommy Robinson on his podcast and analyse it.
I've been born in Luton that now is a 50% Muslim population. I've seen the problems that come. The Islamic community, the power it has. And it is a powerful ideology. I can get onto the reasons Andrew Tate, I believe, has joined it. We've got to address the problem, or if you want to ignore it and call everyone Islamophobic and racist and just wait until, because the demographical change in Britain and in Europe and in France, with the Muslim birth rate, 5.6 children on average, we have 1.3. The demographics are changing so quick, so fast. But in that community, there's a big problem here. I still think if you look at Pew Research and look at the thoughts of men in Afghanistan, Iraq or Pakistan, it's not good. Yeah? And then we're importing them into this country and then just sticking them in Luton Town Centre and wondering why there's a bit of a problem.
You've made a lot of valid points. As someone who grew up in a Muslim household, nowhere are you supposed to kill or hurt innocent people. A lot of Muslims are peaceful. Islam solves a lot of problems, but then you get a small percentage of guys that fuck it up for everybody else. You're calling that out, and then they label you as an Islamophobe. No, it seems to me like you're an extremophobe. In every religion, in every sect, there's people that are going to be bad, whether it's people from Israel, people from the Middle East, people from the United States, people from any country, Africa, wherever.
I think this is from around a year ago, and in that clip, Myron does speak highly of Islam and even defends it. The same energy would have been great when he hosted Laura Loomer. Tommy also wasn't as disrespectful as he usually is regarding Islam, though he did call Muslims in Europe a problem and generalised all men in certain impoverished Muslim nations, and this is him holding back. Just take a look at his X timeline to see how deep his hatred of Islam and Muslims actually runs. In the full segment of the clip I just played, Tommy even tries to sugarcoat his prejudice against Muslims by saying he doesn't dislike all Muslims and that he's okay with non-practicing cultural Muslims, just not practicing ones, which is another way of saying if Muslims aren't living Islamically, then that's fine. This is a ridiculously discriminatory point of view. Tommy dislikes practicing Muslims because they differ from him and his values. Carrying out one's religious obligations does not make you an extremist. The tiny minority of people who claim to be Muslim that are involved in crime or extremism are condemned by the majority of practicing Muslims also, and rightly so. In conclusion, I have to say I side with Brother Dilly on this one, as Myron and Tate seem to have other ideologies they adhere more to than Islam. I don't think Dilly Hussain is an extremist. I think he is fair yet firm in his analysis. Myron does publicly defend Palestine and at times shares his platform with Muslim guests, but he also allows people to insult Islam in the name of free speech because he doesn't value the religion. The reason Muslims judge him so harshly is because we see him as one of us, and there's no doubt Tate does do good charity work in Muslim countries, which is commendable, but let's be honest, he does still openly promote a haram lifestyle and aligns with Islamophobes just because they have common enemies, despite them being hell-bent on seeing our religion cease to exist, which gives a clear indication of where Tate's priorities lie. None of these people are religious role models, and we should not base our dedication to Islam on their conduct. None of us are perfect either. Let's look at where we are falling short in our deen and fix that in our personal lives so we can be a good example to our families and fellow Muslims. Thank you for watching. Make sure to join my free Telegram group via the link in the description, where we as Muslims can speak freely and without censorship in order to guide and support each other in our deen. And remember to like, subscribe and become a channel member for access to exclusive content. Until next time, inshallah, Jazakallah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah